Hello and welcome back to the Awara Musafir show. In this episode, I got an opportunity to talk with Surbi. Surbi goes by the name of Letterati on Instagram. She has more than 21,000 followers. She is an amazing artist. She majorly does calligraphy work. So, if you're someone who is interested in knowing how to do calligraphy, if you're someone who is just interested in art, and if you're someone who wants to learn the art of doing workshops for the beginners, this episode is for you. So do check it out till the end and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button, and yeah, also share this episode with all your friends and family members. Hi Surbi. So first of all, tell me how did you get into art, and why art? What was this whole journey like?
So, to be very honest, no kid in India decides that he or she is going to be
Yeah,
an artist because how it is like the reality. So, just like everyone else, even I didn't decide my path as such. I've been a little studious person and a little artistic as well. And uh, so, obviously, for the studious kids in India, the path is to study more
yeah,
and then to study even more, then get admission in a college. So
yeah.
I was just doing that. I got done with my 12th standard. I had already always been very much inclined towards art, but then obviously that I didn't pay a lot of attention to that. I got admission into Hindu College, Delhi University,
Yeah.
and then I did my bachelor's and then again master's in mathematics. So basically, I
Okay.
have a total of 5 years of formal math education. But what happened was by the time I reached like the fourth year or like you say first year of my master's, I came across this art form called calligraphy or hand lettering. And then slowly and slowly, the more I did calligraphy, the more interested and the more in, the more I started loving calligraphy. So, and by the time I was in the final year of my master's, it was totally like I definitely love calligraphy more than mathematics.
Yeah.
And it was the time for me to think because I do not want to do this to me as a person. It won't be justice to me as a person, first of all, if
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love something else and I do something else for my life. So it was really confusing, to be honest. It still is. It's not been a long time since I've done with my education. I just graduated. I
Okay.
just post graduated in May 2019. So I just thought I'll just take a leap of faith. I'll at least give myself a year or two, and I'll do it full time, and then I'll decide what am I gonna do. I didn't. I haven't yet like taken my final stand on it because it's still very scary. It never stops being scary because of all the irregularities, all those things. But as of now, I really love it, and I'm willing to give a few more years to it. Let's see what I make of it.
Okay. So I came across your profile because of a friend. Her name is Anshula. So she told me about your profile, and then I went and I saw all the posts and the videos that you post. Those are actually like, for you it's art, but for a normal viewer like me, it's sort of meditation because there's all the colors and then the way you like design everything. It's just beautiful and it's actually like meditative. So kudos to you
Thank
for
you so
doing
much.
that. And also, yeah,
Thank you
it's
so
true
much.
in some sense that for someone who is like a student to decide that okay, now I want to stop here and I want to give all my focus to one thing, and that's art. So that's a tough choice that you
Yeah.
made. But what was the first time like when you did calligraphy? What was that moment like?
So, to be very honest, when I started it, I was definitely not good at it, but I
Yeah.
really loved it. And my friends, my roommates back in college, they were not very creative. So, to them, what I did was always a wonder from day one. So, it used to be like I just did a random scribble with a brush pen or anything, and it used to be an amazement for all of us. And they are also a major part of my journey because of how motivating they were and how much they pushed me to schedule my events even along with my studies. So
Yeah.
I guess that's about it.
Okay. So how long has it been since you started doing calligraphy?
So it's roughly been like 3 to 4 years. But
Okay.
it's only been like 1.5 1 year 2 months or something that I'm like a full-time artist, because
Okay.
I was still pursuing my master's till May 2019. So post
Okay.
May
Yeah. Yeah.
2019 I got done with it, and I got full-time into it.
Okay. But how did you learn calligraphy? Like, did you go to some class or you just came across it one day?
So initially, it was all mainly Skillshare and YouTube for brush calligraphy. It was all there's a lot of stuff available online, and then my friends also helped me out. But not everything is available online. So like I initially started with brush calligraphy, but
Yeah.
now apart from brush calligraphy, I do copper plate script. I am also practicing Penserian script. I'm also practicing Gothicised italics, and then Devanagari
Okay.
script, and then some offhand flourishing, etc. for pointed pen. So obviously all these things cannot be learned online. So I started with brush calligraphy. I learned all that online, and then after that I mainly I've attended lots and lots of workshops, and I still keep on attending workshops. The first major workshop that was like a major eye opener for me was Barbara's workshop. Barbara Calzolari, she's one of the 11 master penmen that we have in the world. So she's from Italy. She came to Mumbai in
Okay.
January. So I attended her 4-day long workshop. And that's mainly when my copper plate calligraphy got like a major boost. And after that also, in quarantine in the last 4 months, I've attended like 9 workshops. And all of them have been like amazing. And they have pushed me to explore one more step deeper into it.
Yeah.
And I never regret investing in any of the workshops. And yeah.
Okay. So I want to ask you a deep question. I also want to ask you about the workshops, but before that, so you are like one of those artists who has a great mind for colors and who knows what she wants to create. So what is art for you? Like, I know it's a very deep and a very broad question, but then take your time and you can answer it anyway.
Art for me is like my happy thing. If you ask what's the happiest part of my day, I'm a night owl also, and I like creating at night from 12 midnight to 2 a.m. So if you ask me what's the happiest part of the day, for me the happiest part of my day is when I'm sitting alone and practicing in silence or maybe some music. So art is just happiness for me. And to be very honest, the Instagram page also, I started it when I was still a student. So the
Okay.
Instagram page also, I didn't start to like do it like a full time thing. Like I said, I was just a student. So the Instagram page also used to be like my fun, happy place where I just a little girl who's creating something, except from studies, and then she's just posting it there. So that's the entire thing that I had in mind initially.
Okay. So if not art, then what would you be doing right now?
I would be preparing for NET JRF.
Ah, that's
I
boring.
would be preparing for my PhD in maths. So no, maths is not boring. Maths is indeed beautiful. I still love
Ah,
mathematics. It's just that I love calligraphy a bit more. So I still
okay.
find maths beautiful. I mean, I just saw that movie, A Beautiful Mind, and I kind of started missing the days when I studied maths, and I would discuss all the theorems with my friends and batchmates. So it's difficult, but it's beautiful as well.
So I know one thing, like whenever we edit this podcast, this part is going in because not a lot of people say that they love maths for sure. So yeah.
I
Um,
don't know. I've always loved mathematics, even as like 10th, 11th, 12th, even in the school. The post graduation and the graduation mathematics is totally different from what we study in school.
hmm,
It's all abstract. It's all conceptual. Even that is beautiful. You just need to pay a lot of attention. A
yeah, I
lot.
guess. So, do you think, since maths is something in which you require a lot of focus, so that has sort of built your focus for your own creativity?
Yeah,
Does it help in
definitely.
some way?
See, I might uh, I might not directly use my formal education, but it has kind of given me the attitude to work hard. I mean, work hard, pay attention to details, and like uh, go all about logic. So
Hmm.
the students who attend my workshop, if they learn from me, they exactly know if their thing is not beautiful, why is it not beautiful? Because the concept of beauty and all these things, if something is more beautiful, if something is less beautiful, a layman will just know that okay, I like this one more. But as an artist, I'll exactly be able to tell you what are the things that are like this particular piece is lagging or this particular piece has more. So it's all about understanding things in a better way, and I do definitely think that all that formal education has helped me,
Okay.
and
So
I think that like nothing goes waste
yeah,
if you do it
this is
properly.
like the first time when I've heard कि maths ने मुझे art में help किया है. So that's one thing which is
Not
very,
directly, not
yeah.
not directly. It's if you go to college, if you go to a particular college, you not only learn like the subject from there, you kind of come out from that college as a better person, and there's definitely a lot of change in attitude. Like when you're going there, you're a different person. When you're coming out, you are a better version of yourself. So
100%.
in those matters as well, like I hope that it's a good share.
Okay. And you talk about the workshops, and I have seen your Instagram page. So even you take a lot of workshops now, right? Like you teach in those workshops.
Yeah. I've been teaching I was teaching even when I was a student, like in my masters, whenever my exams used to get over, or when we have this a nice 1 or 2 week buffer time in the starting of a semester, I used to schedule a workshop or two in that little time. So I've been
Okay.
teaching for over 2 years now.
Okay. So how challenging is it to conduct a workshop for someone who is like a complete beginner, like who is taking up calligraphy, like who is maybe taking up the brush for the first time? So how do you teach them?
So are you asking how difficult is it to learn in the workshop, or how difficult is it to conduct your own workshop?
Conducting your own workshop.
So conducting, see, that's a very nice question, to be honest, and I don't know if everyone will like my answer to it or not. But these days, since the entire thing about conducting workshops has become a little easier, as in you
Yeah.
just create a Zoom profile and then you are ready to conduct a workshop. Like you have a phone, you have Zoom, and then the basic infrastructure is there. So one place where I see a lot of people going wrong is scheduling a workshop too early in their art journey. See, you cannot you when you are in first standard, you are not teaching someone who's in UKG. You at least
Hmm.
like the basic thing I want to say is like master your thing first, and then think about instructing it to other people. Because if you become an instructor too early, it'll only send home unhappy participants. And then one major thing is so if you are some XYZ person and you learn calligraphy from some person who has not taught you properly because that person was still a beginner, you won't like go to any other
Yeah.
person, because you will kind of give up on yourself. So this is harmful for both of the instructor in terms of the image, and then both for the learner. And if you are someone who's like practicing for a while, who knows how to handle the tools, and like if you are someone who's like ready with the skill set and all good to conduct a workshop, the main thing I would suggest is prepare a nice set of worksheets or notes or handouts. What do you say? Whatever it is, and then prepare your lecture, revise your lecture in your mind, in the sense how much time exactly will it take, because you cannot like ask for 2 hours and get done in 1 hour. That's like
Yeah.
very unprofessional. So you prepare your class notes, you prepare your lecture, you revise your lecture, you time it well, and then you also leave enough time for the students to ask questions. So that's about it. And to be very honest, I'm currently offering like 5 workshops, and one of the workshop I mainly structured on the basis of what people were asking me via Instagram DM. So in one of the workshops, I teach flourishing, bouncy style, and a lot more about blending. So I structured that workshop based on what people wanted to learn. So
Okay,
obviously,
that's nice. Yeah.
if there's a lot of things that people want to learn, you just create a workshop. But yeah, being structured is very important about like your lecture.
Yeah. So uh, like if you are an artist, and especially a calligraphy artist, how easy or hard it is to make money right now in like 2020?
Uh, See, it is difficult because one thing is like this. Just like I said, there are a lot of people who are who are scheduling classes and who are not the perfect people to be giving classes. And to be very honest, I have had people who texted me that they've texted this person that they'll be teaching them. There were one or two people who even like took the money and deleted the Instagram profile. So
Oh,
what
damn.
it makes it like the scammers. So it makes it difficult for the honest people like us because now they have trust issues. Now they do not know if I'm a genuine person or not. And secondly, when they've
100%.
already invested in it, they'll find it difficult to invest again. So 2020, to be honest, is difficult for any artist.
Yeah. But for an calligraphy artist, what are the streams of earning?
So basically,
Yeah.
I see calligraphy or hand lettering as the art of creating beautiful letters or beautifying text in very simple terms. And if you see, text is like literally everywhere. If you see logos, if you see menu cards, if you see wedding cards, so basically you just need to be good at it. If you're good at it, after calligraphy or hand lettering, you could be designing logos, you could be designing menu cards. You can also come up with your own merchandise line.
Hmm.
So I mean, this is just a random cup that's kept here, and it also has text.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you just need to develop an eye for it. You just need to be good at it. And apart from designing products, you can be an instructor. And there's a big so we are in a world which is very very digital. So obviously digital things have their own place in our hearts and minds. But जब handwritten or personal touch कम हो रहा है, so obviously we are the ones who are bringing back the personal
Yeah.
touch, the manual thing. So this has also the increase in digitization of everything has also increased our love for something that's handmade or handwritten.
Yeah.
So handwritten letters and envelope addressing, this is also a major area in which you can monetize what you are doing. Basically, the bottom line is you just need to master your craft, and then there
Yeah.
are like endless opportunities. And one of the workshops like I attended was from Achut Pallab sir. He's like he's amazing calligraphy artist. So he in one of his workshops told that he designed the dial for one of the Titan Raga watches. So
Oh,
as
nice.
someone who's just getting into calligraphy, we do not think like designing a Titan Raga dial can be one of the things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it all boils down to if you are great at it, opportunities will come to you somehow.
Yeah. So talking about this thing like earning in calligraphy, is Instagram also a source of earning for you now? Now that like you have quite a good base on Instagram?
So mainly, most of my workshop participants know about my workshops through Instagram or through one of the people who has attended my workshop in past. So Instagram you can see as a promotion tool or as a tool that helps us generate awareness about what is calligraphy, what is hand lettering. Because to be very honest, it's when I say I'm an artist, people do not think that she'll be like writing letters. People think that
Hmm.
she probably paints. So obviously, Instagram helps us in creating awareness about how we can see letters as an art, as a piece of art, and then definitely it helps me promote my own events as well.
Yeah. Okay. So your Instagram profile is one of the most beautiful profile that I have come across on
Oh,
Instagram. So because
okay.
there are so many colors, like when you open your profile and I went like scrolling, and there are like millions of
Okay.
colors. So what is your motivation to like use a certain type of color or like a certain type of design, and you post it every day? So what motivates you to do that?
See, first is calligraphy. When I started it, it was just a therapy and it was a relaxing thing for me. So,
Yeah.
as someone who's like creating my Instagram profile, I just definitely want my audience to be relaxed by this.
Yeah.
Like, so that is the thing behind why it is relaxing. And about colors, etc. To be very honest, I haven't like really noticed that I use so many colors.
Okay.
I just have like I like really love creating very very simple, colorful backgrounds, and when I really love what I'm doing, I like try and take the best shots of it. So I
Okay.
guess that's all about my Instagram.
But then, had you ever imagined that कि calligraphy करना मैं start करूँगा and someday I'll be an influencer because of this on Instagram?
No, no.
So how does it feel
If you
that
ask
you
me,
have
like,
like 21,000 followers, right?
yeah,
So how does that feel?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, I never pictured it like that. I mean, if you ask someone who just had got admission in first year of masters, which was in 2017, just 2 years back, I'd be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're crazy. I'm never going to leave mathematics. I'm not a risk taker. I do not do things which are very unconventional and very risky. It is pretty unbelievable. But at the end of the day, when I find myself enjoying this so much, I know it will sound very abstract, but I think that this is the path that was chosen for me because
Yeah.
I just like really love doing it.
Yeah. So you just now said that this was the path chosen for you. That's a very spiritual saying, and in art, like any artist, somehow they are connected to spiritual methods of life. So is there any connection of your art with spirit, like spiritual techniques?
See, I believe in all things that are there, but I
Yeah.
do not associate my art to any of those things. I just
Okay.
think that yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And also you are one of the creator, like content creator on Instagram who posts every day. And I know how big a task it is to post every day and to post something that is good, not just
Yeah,
anything you're posting like quality content. So how do you do that?
yeah. To be honest, I'm like, see, definitely if you're crazy for something, it's very, very easy for you to do it every day. And
Yeah.
I'll also tell you that not all of my creations and not all of my stuff goes on Instagram. That there's like chunks of other
Yeah,
things that are
100%.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
So if I have like 30 minutes, the one thing that I'll go to is just practicing it. So I definitely agree that at times it becomes difficult for you to create every day. But then when I'm creating, when I'm in a mode, I have at times I still have around 50 unposted videos in my phone. So I mean, I just take a
That's
scroll,
a
I'll
lot of
just select
content.
my favorite, I'll select my favorite and I'll like post it there. So that makes it easy because not all days I'm like I actually practice a lot. So my arm,
Yeah.
what happens with me is like I practice a lot for like 5 days and then my arm and shoulder and everything gets crazy and then I have to leave the practice for 2 days totally. So for those two
Okay.
days, the content that I have in my stock or in my stash, that really helps me.
Okay. And how do you create content? Like, is there any strategy कि इस week में इतना बनाना है या it's just the flow?
No.
The,
See again at the end of the day it is my happy place, it is my happy thing.
yeah.
I do not want to like put a lot of things or restrictions around it because when you put a lot of deadlines etc with your own work it
Yeah.
stops
Yeah.
being like fun. So I try and
100%.
post every day, but if it is not every day, if I'm not feeling well or if my arm is messed up, I take 2 3 days off Instagram. I do not post. I mean, it's all right. I do not beat myself up for that because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, Instagram is not paying me anything. That too.
Yeah, true, true. So, when you were at 0 followers and now you are at, I guess, 21.5K, if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong. So, what's
Yeah.
the difference that has come in your art? And also, do you create content for Instagram now?
See, definitely, I have now. I have to take out special times that okay, I'm creating this particular piece because this is supposed to go on Instagram.
Yeah,
But what I do and what I am an artist or what my creative path is not decided by Instagram because
okay.
the thing with Instagram is like I've been a brush calligraphy artist for 1 year now. Now my with Instagram my audience is like used to my brush calligraphy content, but now I'm learning and putting other things as well there. In terms of Instagram, it is not a good thing because I'm kind of changing my niche. Like
Okay.
uh, brush calligraphy is a very modern art form. Copper plate calligraphy and the other things that I'm doing is a very traditional approach to it. So definitely it does mess up with the audience side of Instagram. But then
Yeah.
again, at the end of the day, I do not want to be like an Instagrammer. I want to be a good artist. So like I think that if someone is beginning their Instagram, it's not about followers. It's about the content that you put up there. It's about how happy with you are with what you are doing. I don't think if I keep doing brush calligraphy for 5 years, I'll be like as proud of the artist I am as I am right now. So I think that that's it about the content that I post there, and that like basic strategy. It's not just
Yeah.
Instagram. It's about me.
And also, like the second question would be, at 0 followers, the Surbhi you were, and at 21.5K, the Surbhi you are right now. So, what's the change in the art according to you? Like, is there any particular change that you have seen?
Yeah, obviously, if you keep practicing your art for like years, you get better at it. So obviously now even the blush calligraphy is better. Now I'm a better artist. If you that's the thing for every artist. I mean, if you
Yeah,
compare
yeah,
them now to what they were 2 years ago, there'll be definitely growth. So
yeah,
that is
100%.
definitely there.
And also, 21.5K followers. So, does that number sometimes like stress you out? कि यार अब मैं क्या post करूँ? Like that thoughts come to you?
Not as stress. I don't know how do I put it. At times it becomes like if I haven't posted for more than 5 to 7 days, it kind of does stress me out that there are these many people who might be expecting from me, and then I should be posting for them. But then at the end of the day, it's not always a bad thing. It can be a good thing as well, because at times I might be motivated to create for my audience, if
Yeah,
not for
yeah.
me. So yeah, it's all cool. I mean, it's not a major issue in my head like that.
Okay. Um, if there's someone who wants to create something like the literati, if there's someone who is just starting out as a brush artist or as a calligraphy artist, what would be your tips to them?
So to be very honest, is post regularly. As difficult as it is definitely worth it. And secondly, one thing that comes with posting regularly is you're not able to create quality content. But no, no, no. If you're posting regularly, your content should also be good, which is again like really difficult thing to do. And so like creating, see, content is the king. You cannot grow your page, or even if you are growing your page without content, you probably don't have any future. So
Yeah,
just focus on the content. And to be very honest, I think that the monetization part and the followers and all these numbers, they are just a byproduct. The content is good, these things will happen. And secondly, uh, it takes like a major amount of my day to just respond to everyone. I mean, there are so many people who are asking me about stationery and this and that.
yeah,
I do not care if that person has attended my workshop or if that person knows me personally or not. I make sure that I'm sorting out all of the stationery related doubts that I have. So again, that's a major thing that I would suggest everyone to do. If you have an audience who wants to engage with you, definitely engage with your audience, and do not keep your Instagram all for like hi, buy from me. It kind of gets weird for the
yeah,
audience. That I mean, the audience starts feeling like such a consumer. Okay, इसमें तो कुछ और वो रहता ही नहीं है. I mean, there's
true.
just products that this person wants. So just make a nice, cool vibe of your place. Do not beat around one thing. Do not always beat around selling what you want to sell. Definitely, I understand you might want to, but talk about other things as well. Do not solely like focus on one thing. And apart from that, I don't think there's anything else. As long as you're creating good content, sooner or later it'll happen with you. But you have to be very very patient. And in current scenario, I guess if you check, every third or fourth post is sponsored. So it is becoming more and more difficult for creators each day with the amount of traffic that we have on Instagram. So definitely you have to be very very patient.
Yeah. And keeping just the artists in mind, what would be your advice to them ki, how to get better at calligraphy?
Definitely practicing, one thing. But with that said, it's not just practicing. You also have to see what are the mistakes that you are doing, and if you're not making the same mistakes every day. It sounds weird, but I've seen so many people who are making the same mistakes for 1 year, and even if they are practicing, they are not growing. So basically, I would say mindful practice is what is more important than just practice. If you're doing something, if you're making an artwork, if you're rejecting it, before just throwing it out in the scrap, just take a moment and see what is it that was wrong with it, what is it that messed it up. And secondly, calligraphy or any art form, it requires lots of patience. So it won't happen overnight. There's this big thing that as someone who's posting regularly on Instagram, I've been doing copper plate calligraphy for more than 1 year, but only now have I started posting my work. So what happens is, as someone who's learning it, that person starts comparing what he's creating today with what he's seeing me post on Instagram. So that there's this big gap
Yeah.
in between. So you have to take care that you are not mentally affected by this gap. You are not supposed to see that, okay, if my work is not as good as what I see on Instagram or social media, I'm horrible. That person just has to think that I'm not compare my day one to someone's day 200 or someone's day n, for that matter.
Yeah.
That is also very important. So to be honest, it just boils down to practice, patience, and consistency. Just do these three things. Any art form, let it be calligraphy, watercolor, this, that. It'll be all cool.
Okay. And what is your secret to creating these like these amazing posts? So if there's someone like your enemy out there, and if they want to know your secret, what would that be?
I don't have a lot of enemies. I don't
I
know.
know. I'm just saying.
I'm friends. To be honest, I don't see my Instagram like that. I mean, I don't sit down and create strategies for posts.
Yeah.
If I just see there's some particular post of mine which is like more than the other one, so I would just stick to that kind of post. Like recently, I don't know where's this particular tiny artwork. So recently, I started creating these small artworks, which started which people liked even more than the larger ones. So just a
Okay.
moment, I'm so sorry. Uh, yeah. So initially, I used to create these kind of like larger artworks, which are
Oh,
definitely
damn.
much more
Yeah.
time taking. But then I couldn't upload like the process videos for these artworks because
Yeah.
these take like 3-4 hours or something. But recently I started creating much more smaller, tinier artworks, which are much more easier for me to create, and then the
Yeah.
process videos are also shareable. So
This is really beautiful.
these kind of artworks got more attention, got more engagement, got more love. So I'm just sticking to these now. It's just very, very simple. If you're
Okay.
good in art, there were just very few things for in terms of Instagram.
Yeah.
Obviously it makes a lot of sense if you're posting like 10 things and you have like 5 posts which are getting more attention than the other. So you might want to stick to the 5 that are getting more attention.
Okay. So at the end of a podcast, I always ask this question to someone. The first question is, if there's a young artist, like say 12 years or 14 years old, if he or she wants to venture into art, and I'm not talking about Instagram, I'm not talking about any social media, just purely art, what would be your advice to them? Because at that age, like at 12 or 14, it's very tough to explain to your parents ki this is what I want to do and this is what I love. So how did you explain it to your parents?
Oh, is the video stuck or is it all right?
No,
It's
that's
all
fine.
right.
It's fine. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So for me, it was pretty simple because I did the education part of the life. Like I did the mainstream education part of the life. Now my parents wouldn't be like, go get a graduation degree, go get a
Yeah.
master's degree. Those are like the requisites for you to have a nice name in the society. If you are like as a kid or as someone who's my parent, like if I see from their perspective, they have a girl who has done
Yeah.
her bachelor's, who has done her master's, that too from a decent college, from a decent university, and a very decent subject, mathematics. So to be honest, they do. In starting, my dad was definitely much more logical, much more practical. He was like, why don't you just go pursue your PhD and this and that? But again, if you are good at it and if they see you enjoying it, if they see you monetizing it properly, they won't stop you after a point. It will just take like a few months. So I guess that's about it. I mean, at one point I even think that at one point I think that it would be better for me have I had some design degrees or BFA or MFA. But then again, I think that these very formal education that I have, this kind of acts like my mattress.
Yeah.
Like if stuff goes bad with art, if there's if at any time I'm too scared to pursue it, I have a very nice mattress to fall. So one suggestion can be just prepare a mattress for yourself so that you do not fall straight on the ground. Second could be get totally into it, like get a BFA,
Yeah.
get a design degree, and like totally immerse yourself into it. But one thing is, if your parents see the quality of your work and the value that you are bringing to the community, I don't think they'll stop you after a point. It will take a few months or so, but at the end of the day, they are your parents. They'll never think something that is like harmful for you. If they're also, even if they're suggesting that you shouldn't go for it, just consider their perspective as well. Because I see a lot of people who want to become artists, but they're actually not really amazing at it. So again, that's one very discussion worthy point, that you have to be, if you want to be a full time artist, you have to have a few things. First thing is you have to deal that if in this month you are earning some X amount, it will not be the
Mhm.
same for all the 12 months. That's the first thing. And the second thing is you have to be really crazy for it, because as an artist, I don't take any breaks. I do not have weekends. I don't have Sundays, Mondays. I'm working all 7 days. And I know it sounds really weird and like kind of impossible for you, but if you do not have that amount of madness, and if you want to become a full-time artist, then you might want to like rethink that, because when you are building something from the scratch, you have to work harder. So
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that helps.
Okay. One very technical question. In a field like arts, a professional degree, is it helpful or not?
No, I don't think it is. It is very important, because most of the people who I learn from, who I look up to, even the person Barbara that I talked about, even she
Yeah.
does not have a professional art degree, and she is one of the best 11 people in the world. She's the certified one of the best 11 people.
Yeah.
She had some job in fashion industry before she became a calligrapher. So I don't think that you need a professional degree. Like, it is not a requisite thing. As long as you are mad for what you are doing, as long as you really love what you are doing, and as long as you are ready to do it all the time, every day.
Okay. And before I ask you one last question, who inspires you to create art?
Okay. I don't think there's this one person who inspires me. There are a lot of people that I
Yeah.
look up to on Instagram, who I follow, who set new goals each day for me. Definitely Barbara Calzolari. We have Jake Weedman. Then we have Skylar. Then we have Anil. So there's just so many people.
Yeah.
I don't think I can just pinpoint anyone.
Okay. And just like how you gave advice for the younger kids who want to get into art, what would be your advice for the parents? Like in India, there's this thing ki parents don't let their kids get into arts. Like it's not still that mainstream
I
field.
understand.
So what would be your
I
advice to those
understand.
parents?
So I guess that first and foremost, do not think what the society is going to say, because if your kid is doing BTech and if it is not he's not doing it properly, even
Yeah.
then the society is going to say something. So you first thing is you have to stop considering the society into deciding a child's future. Second thing is, even the parents need to be patient, because when you are an artist, the money doesn't flow from day one.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
flows from the third year or fourth year. So
True.
you have to be considerate about that thing. It is not. It doesn't mean that if your child is not making money today, It is not the fact. It is not that he won't be making money after 4 years. So you have to give your kid the time to like build something he's trying to build. If you see something, if you see him madly devoted to something, you have to believe in him. So just believe in your kid and do not think about the society, because the society is anytime going to say something like we cannot
Yeah,
stop them.
true. One last question before we end this. What is the future for literati, and what is the future for Surbi right now? Like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years or 10 years?
Okay. So the one more most important thing is I started out as my artist journey as an instructor. So
Yeah,
currently I have like 4 workshops on the table. So I would definitely want to increase what I'm offering to the community. I would want to start teaching copper plate calligraphy and even the other scripts that I'm working on. That's definitely one thing. And second thing is a few years down the line, not right now, I'm not ready for that right now. I would want to see my designs on my products. So that's like a long term thing
yeah,
that will require a team and then like a lot more work. So these two things are definitely what I have in mind. And definitely YouTube is something that even I would want to do, because there's just so much stationery out there. There are so
yeah,
many people who want so many reviews. But again, I am not ready for the YouTube part of it as well, because video editing, it all takes so much of time.
yeah,
I do not want to put substandard quality content on the table. So these three things for now, and I guess with time I'll just and I'm already designing logos. So I would want to design more of I would want to do more of branding projects, designing logos, and for other like not just for my own merchandise, but for the
yeah,
others as well. So logos, etc., is something that I do and I would want to do more of.
yeah. Okay. So
So
yeah, that's like the end of this podcast. I hope so we do this again,
okay,
because there's a lot we can talk about, like art, about Instagram
yeah,
again.
definitely,
So yeah,
yeah,
thank you for
definitely.
giving us your time and telling us all the amazing details about your life also,
Thank
and
you,
giving us all those inputs. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.